Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oop, saw the inside of my head. Welcome back to episode 5 of Who's Who. Today, now, hear me out. I typically start these off by saying what I'm going to do in the episode, and then I rarely do what I plan to. But today is going to be different. Today we're going to be playing catch up. I want to do all the things that I said I did in previous episodes. What the heck are you doing in my house? So all the different things I wanted to do in previous episodes. So I'm going to deal with Jeremy and his many, many, many friends. So I'm going to build them a little habitat, quote unquote, because I'm going to use it for a farm. I'm going to build a moss farm. And if we get lucky, we'll probably build the spruce house over here. Got some builds I want to do, but I also don't want to bite off more than I can chew this episode, so no promises. But for starters, we're going to work on these guys, build a very basic raid farm, get some totems maybe, get that all nice and taken care of, and then we're going to build a moss farm. It might go over here. I'm thinking it's going to come over here. And then we'll see where the episode takes us from there, but that is going to be episode 5. So come with me. Let's go build that raid farm. I've been doing some scouting out with Trusty Destiny here. And I found this weird place. It is a stony shore. It says right here, stony shore. I think this is going to work because the idea for a farm, for a raid farm, is you want to build it in a large flat area. And they're not super hard to move, so I'll probably put it here. So now I'm going to go get all the materials. I'll kind of show you guys a little guide on how to make one, and then I'll link in the description a tutorial to the tutorial that I'm watching as well. And we'll show you how to do that. So let's go grab those materials, and we'll build this raid farm. All right, so for a basic raid farm, the tutorial I'm following is from Mysticat. I'll link that in the description. I'm going to do a quick tutorial here as well. But these are all the materials you're going to need. The necessary materials are here on the top, and the optional materials are here on the bottom. But this is everything you're going to need, plus one of each of these guys. One raid captain, and then one villager. Obviously, you don't want them to kill each other, so I put a little wall to protect them. But that's all you're going to need, so let's get on to the tutorial. So to start off this farm, you want to try and find as level of a place as possible. So I'll have to go through and level out some of this. But as flat and level as you can make it, the easier and quicker the raids will spawn and go through. To start off this farm, you're going to dig a 1x3 hole. And then from there, you're going to build out 8 blocks from that hole. And as you're going to see in a minute, I didn't do 8 blocks in every direction. So by that 1x3 hole, you're going to want to dig out 8 blocks. So as you see here, I'm going to add one more on each side. And then you're going to want to connect each of those edge pieces going in a 1x1 block pattern until you create this little diamond shape. And you're going to go ahead and mine out all of the remaining blocks. Once you've dug in all of that out, it should look a little bit like this. So the middle of the farm is one side has 3x3 and the other is 1x1. So you should have your middle roughly be about right here. Now that you've gotten this all dug out and we found the center, we're going to put our villager into place, and we want to put him just off from one of the centers. If you want to make the farm really efficient, you can use 2 villagers, but we're not going to do that. So we're just going to choose this side, and we're going to dig ourselves a little hole where we're going to store our villager. We'll dig it down 3 deep, and we'll go get our bed. Oop, we stole it to sleep on. We'll go get our little bed for our villager, and we'll put him in this hole. And this is going to start the farm and will be the village for creating the raids and for the quote-unquote village that they're trying to end with the raiders. So we'll get our villager into this hole with his nice new bed. Now that we've got him in place, it's time to place our slabs and our water. So our slabs are going to go skipping this first piece, every single one like so, leaving one block gap along the edges of everything. Now, to place in our water, we're going to go grab those 2 buckets and make a quick infinite water source. And we'll begin placing our water buckets on top of that full block that's surrounded by those slabs. And as we begin to fill in that water, you'll see this plus shape begin to take form. That means you're filling it in correctly. I'm beginning also to realize it's kind of hard to see the center of the farm, or the farm in general, because it's stone on stone. But I've mined out the center of that farm as that block right there. And as you can see, that plus shape is starting to take place. So once it all is put into place, it'll have that plus. The next thing is going to put water in the middle of the 1x3 areas. So that should create a flat 1x3 instead of this little plus shape. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now that we've gotten all of that water in place and we've got that 3x1 hole, we're going to go ahead and put in our Ravager killer so that way they don't come at us. So we're going to put a sign in the middle here. Eventually we're going to dig down, so you want to put it on one of the sides of the walls here. We're going to put a sign on top and then one more sign on top of that. From there, we're going to put a sign in each one of the directions of the sign, like so. And then we're going to put 4 signs on top of each of those. Now we've got each one of those signs in place. Oops. We're going to put the lava in between all of them and remove our scaffolding blocks. So that lava should be just high enough that it will clear anybody who's 2 blocks tall, like the player is. Now, once it's dug down once like this, we're going to go down a total of 27. So this level would be 0. That's 1. This is 2. And we're going to go down a total of 27. So we're going to get digging on that. Now that we've got this 27 hole, we're going to build out a little room for us to kill the pillagers. So I'm going to build mine the same way that I came, which is over this way, because the entryway is going to pop up somewhere over here. So I'm going to dig out a little room to kill the pillagers on this side. Okay, now that we have our 27 blocks, we're going to go down one more, because they can fall 27 blocks. So we're going to go down one more, and they're going to fall onto our hoppers. So we've got all the chests. We'll put a single hopper leading into each chest. And then an added touch that I like to do is put carpets on top of the hoppers. And then with our glass, we're going to put a full block on top so we can see them, but they can't see us. I spoke a little too soon. It's not going to be carpets, but instead we're going to put a half slab there, and that is where we are going to go ahead and hit our pillagers. Now that we have our killing chamber, we're going to go ahead and create a way to get out. So here, this is the center, so we know we've got at least 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to go about 4 or 5 extra to get out of here. And we'll build a little exit room. And then with this room, we're going to use a bubble elevator to get out, because bubble elevators are cool and we are cool. So we'll go ahead and mine down an up and a down. And we've got our 2 up and down. And we'll use our glass blocks to build those out. And we'll actually use scaffolding to get out, because I am stuck currently. There we go. We'll put one here, one there. And if we use our kelp, we can go ahead and create Does it have to be on a specific? There we go. We can create water source blocks all the way up to the top, which will cause our bubble columns to fill up. So if we get that first one, swim down to the bottom, break it, it'll take us all the way up to the top. Now we'll do the same over here. Turn everything into a source block. Catch our breath for a second and go back down. And put our magma block. Now that will suck us down to the bottom. Now we can go up and we can go down pretty easily. Another thing I like to do, because sometimes it can get stressful when you are trying to find where the hole is, I like to put an ominous banner here so I know, okay, run over this way, and then I can zip down quickly. But now that we've got it all built, that is pretty much it. So let's give it a quick test run and we'll see how well our little guy performs. So this sequence of events should happen fairly quickly. We take this, we kill him, we get that, and we start a raid. So it all happens as soon as you get close to here. There is a village up there, so I'm going to be extra careful not to accidentally set off the village or a raid at the village, because that would be awful. I also probably will set some trapdoors up above so I don't die that way. But there's our giant tube. They spawned over here and they'll path over to the villager. Let's get me set up right in my swinging. Let's go take a look. So they'll come and pathfind over to this villager here to try and kill him, and they'll fall all the way down to me, where I can hit them. And they should be one shot, although I do also have, oh, I don't have any enchantments on my sword. So regardless, they're one shot. So here goes that first level of the raid. One and done. So the other thing that I'll probably need to do is any sort of caves like this, they have a chance of spawning down in them. So I'll have to go back and refill them. But let's listen for that next wave. There they spawned. So yeah, for example, they could fall down in this hole, and if it was like too high, they wouldn't be able to make it. But they come over, funnel in. Uh-oh, one came down. Oh no. That's not supposed to happen. That's okay. Good thing they came down on the magma. Definitely going to put some trapdoors on top of that, because that could have been terrifying. I mean, it was a little bit, but it could have ended a lot worse. For right now, we're just gonna go put a block on top and try to make it quickly. Oh. Heard that toot to toot, the goat horn. They actually make noises like that now. So I might go trim up some of these trees so I can clearly see where they all spawn. No ravagers just yet. Which is interesting, but so far we've got some emeralds, we got those axes. Not too bad. So I'll check in at the end when I get my first totem, and we'll see how well it's working. Oh, all right, we got our first Vindicator. So the problem with the Vindicator is he wants to destroy the villager, so oftentimes he will keep himself up there like this on the edge for a long time. So a way to get rid of that is to build another villager and put him down next to him. So that way he will get caught in that loop that he's at right now, but he'll occasionally change direction. But there he goes. So if you want it to be the little more efficient, that's one way to do it. But we got a first totem of undying. Very cool. I'm still going to heal up my tools for right now. But as you can see, that Ravager and whoever's riding it will get stuck in that lava. Ravager dies. Sometimes you get the saddle, sometimes you don't. But we got it in that case, and then he should fall down. Maybe. There he goes. So there we go. We got our first totem. That's the simple raid farm. All right, we just got Hero of the Village. Oop, wrong side. So that raid was a success. Gonna need to go grab those trapdoors so they don't come inside. I also realized in building I missed these 2 blocks, so I put them here because sometimes they'll get trapped if you don't. So there we go. Raid victory. First build done. Nice little farm. Now we're going to take this back home, use that Hero of the Village, and see if we can't get any good loot from our villagers. I'd call that a success. I'm going to bring back those trapdoors, and we're going to move on to the next build. Let's get caught up. While I am heading back, I also realized I forgot to mention I am playing in 1.19. Unfortunately, the official mods haven't been updated. Also, do you like that MLG water bucket? I'm pretty cool. But the updates haven't officially come out yet for the mod pack for 1.19 haven't officially come out. But some of the community has created substitute mods for that to work. So I'm playing on those, and so that's why I have things like replay mod and mini HUD and things like that. But yeah, 1.19 leaves are now waterloggable, which is kind of neat, weird looking. But yeah, I updated to that. Also, I am thinking with my build for my moss farm, it uses a lot of birch. So it's probably going to be the first building over on this side. We have our villagers here, so it's probably going to be cozy nestled in right there. So let's get gathering some resources so we can get building. Collecting materials took a little bit longer than I anticipated, mostly because of the warp stem. Unfortunately, with this design, I haven't quite figured out how to entrap the lava. So it's been burning down, so I'm going to use this the warped planks to avoid that from happening so it doesn't burn down all the time, because that's not good. But this is where it's going to go. So let's cue up that time-lapse music, and here comes the long-awaited moss farm. All right, I think I started building up the moss farm building around, but it's going to be mostly cobblestone if I do it now because I don't have enough moss. So I decided to build the moss farm and I'll let it run for a little bit. That way I can actually use moss in the build. But I've got mostly everything in place. Right here, I'm missing a little contraption to set it up with a slime block and a sticky piston because I'm short 1 slime ball. But if we turn it on, we should start generating moss. Cool. Looks like it's working. The long-awaited moss farm. So I'm not a big... I don't understand exactly 100% what's going on, but to my knowledge, we have a dispenser that's underneath this moss block, bone mealing it, which is turning all of these into moss. And when they get crushed, They get pushed, which crushes them, and then they fall through their own block into this hopper train that we have. And that leads right into here. So I put in 3 stacks of bone meal, and we're going to let that run. And we'll see where it goes. If I can't get enough moss to do what I want while I'm building it up. So we'll get back to the time lapse and build around it. And that 3 stacks of bone meal should probably be finished by the time I finish the build. We'll see though. So we'll get back to finishing this build. Unfortunately, I just barely finished that time lapse and I accidentally deleted it. So the time lapse is gone, but I'm going to jump back into the actual footage where I'm going to show you this build and kind of the outs and ins. So we'll cut back to that. Holy cow. In true Who's Who fashion, we got a rainstorm. But now we have shelter to come inside. Unfortunately, I was a lot slower than I thought I would be. So it churned through those 3 stacks of... it churned through those 3 stacks of bone meal, and that is what we got out of 3 stacks. Really, really good. We got a lot of wheat seeds, which we'll probably just throw in composters. Some moss carpets, some azalea bushes, but a lot of moss. So now I can create a really fancy looking lawn. I can use the moss carpets to hide things, and I can also get all of this wonderful mossy cobblestone. To show a little bit of what the farm does, so you load it filled with moss, and then you're going to need 1 moss block to start the farm. You switch out the center block for a moss block, and then you turn the farm on. So ideally this would be a piston to do it, so you could turn it on and off, but I don't. And it happens really quickly. I'm going to miss it all. But it bone meals, turns everything into moss, and then the moss falls down. And when you run out of bone meal, it just crushes that 1 piece of moss that's in the middle. And because furnaces can't be pushed, you can use obsidian or furnaces. Because that cannot be pushed, the farm tries to keep working, but it can't. And so it pretty much stops itself, with the exception of the pistons firing. And then you get more azalea bushes and carpets and all of that wonderful moss. So it was a long time coming, and unfortunately I built it, the farm inside shifted 1 to the left because it was supposed to be shifted 1 to the right, and now I have my furnaces in the wall on this side. But that's okay. I'll furnish the inside. Maybe I need to do that this episode. That might happen next episode. But let's sleep and get this rain finished. And flick those shaders back on. And this is my little moss farm. Let's go take shelter inside. And let's zoom around. So, I'm probably going to get rid of that tree. This is the little moss farm. You got a little pillar out here in the front, a canopy on the side, which I'm probably going to fill with bushels of moss or something like that. I snuck in a little number 1 because this is my first automated farm. And this is it. Outside here on the side, I also built an upstairs where I can eventually house all of my moss if I need it. Built 2 stores kind of, because the farm was built such a way that it couldn't be flat across here. But yeah, I'm really proud of this build. Quick shout out for credit. This farm was designed by Champman on YouTube. So I followed the Chapman tutorial and he built this up, and then I just kind of hid it inside of this building. Let's take a look at it from a far distance. Let's get rid of this tree first. And we'll take a gander at my wonderful, wonderful build. I do realize now, after having built it in my survival world, the roof was a little lopsided. So I'm probably going to go fix that. But let's go take a look at it from across the bridge. See what it looks like peeking through these trees. I also haven't been using the bridge always, so I built those lily pads. Okay. That kind of makes it look like it's part of the mountain, so I might switch that out for some deep slate or something a little darker, maybe some terracotta. I like it. Looking snazzy. We're going to have to terraform a little bit because it's kind of strange, but I like it not being flat in the house. I like instead that it's built onto the terrain and not into the terrain. If that makes any sense. But there we go. One more build down, one more long time lapse down, but we're getting caught up on all the things I was going to do. This is the catch up episode because I'm getting caught up, not because I'm a delicious condiment. But that's the moss farm. Let's see if we can't do some more things to get caught up today. So it's been a minute. It's the next day in real life for me. As you can see, I got my hero of the village. I've been trying to grind up some XP and things because I made a fully enchanted new diamond hoe. But I think the plan for right now is to go tame and tend to my spruce forest that's over there, build a little log cabin, and then after that, we'll finally do the interior design of all of these different cute, amazing buildings and work more towards getting caught up. So let's go get one more time lapse in. This one won't fail. I hope. I really hope. So I'm going to work on that. And now have enough materials for the build that I'm looking to do. Now I just need to scout out a good plot of land. It looks like there's a good forest coming in, which I'm really proud of. But as you'll see in just a second, it's only kind of a front, only a facade. Because right here, it feels like you're in the middle of the forest, and then it stops. So I'm hoping as I am building here, these saplings will start to grow, and I can make it a little more of forest vibes instead of just right here. But unfortunately, this isn't very flat terrain. I could build it down in this little valley, but I don't want to. I kind of wanted it to be as an entryway into the forest. This plot of land looks really nice, although that tree's kind of in the way. So maybe I put it at the top with the idea that I'll expand a lot. Not expound. I'll expand a lot further with the forest that way. But I'm thinking right where this tree is. So I'm probably just going to bust down this tree and then use that. Okay, I'm going to get that schematic placed and then we'll hopefully get that time lapse going. And it won't mess up this time, I swear. There it is. Actually, let's remove that schematic real quick. There's the little cabin. I think I might extend the chimney a little bit higher. Let's do this too. Ooh. So I might take that chimney a little bit higher so you can see it back that way instead of just the smoke coming out. There's that. I also have some finishing touches I wanted to add. I figured this would sort of be a storage silo type place. They're here. I like to build a story around the builds most of the time. Let's make a few more trap doors. So maybe this individual lives off of the land, right? So I'm making it look like maybe they're chopping down the wood, they're gathering it, they're storing it for maybe their fire pit that's on the inside. So maybe they've got a little fire stash out here, maybe some barrels that they keep extra storage in. Who knows? But that's kind of the aesthetic. We'll go plop this down in here. I haven't done the interior super duper much on this one, but it's built a little bit more around a breader interior. So we got a cozy little fire that is actually functional. So this pipe runs all the way up through. We come up here to the loft. We've got a loft bedroom with some more storage. And then I've got these supporting beams that hold it all up. And yeah, I got this cozy little cabin. I'll have to do some interior designing here, maybe a little bit more up top. But let's take a look at it in this beautiful golden hour. So it's got an offshoot here. Probably going to want to take out this tree because can't really see much. And then you've got your top cabin truss here, your two side windows, nothing on the sides or the back that's really special. And then you've got that fireplace chimney. I'm probably going to extend that one, maybe two up, but probably just a single block taller. So that when you're far away and you're down on the ground, you can see it a little better. Or maybe I'll just throw, I don't know. We'll see. But that is my cutesy little build. It took, what, 2 Minecraft days? So it was pretty quick. I was pretty happy with that. So now, hopefully I can take all this stuff back. I'll spend my night in the cozy cabin. Let me go see real quick, actually. Maybe we throw a double bed up top. I'll get rid of this one that I've been carrying forever. Come here, squids. Okay. Feel like the double bed might make it a little bit more cozy. Definitely need some more lights in here, although I like how it's a little darker. Maybe a double bed? I think that works. We'll sleep in the cabin tonight. And today, good morning. Oh, the neighbors here aren't fun. So, I'll let that grass grow back, maybe spawn some more podzol. But that's my cozy little cabin build. I really like it. I'm looking at it now in the world. The faces look pretty flat. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Like there's no exterior, so I might go throw some dark oak trapdoors. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that just yet. So I added some extra little doodads here in the front. And then of course we're gonna have to path it all the way back this way. But that's my little cozy cabin build. Now I think it's time to get on to those interiors.
Interior decorating is a lot harder than you'd think it'd be. But I'm finished. I won't let you show I won't show you the inside just yet. But I've done my cozy cabin. I've done this corner tower. And then I've done some of the other buildings like the moss farm. But we'll start here. First entryway, paintings are a very big thing to help decorate. I got a little study here. I used a loom, put it sideways. It looks like it's an empty bookshelf. So maybe they're reading and doing a study. The carpet, I made it look like it's been trampled in different places and crushed down. It's just carpet blocks and full wool blocks that make that. So that looks really cool. Then over here, we have a little dining area. I wasn't super sold on this one, and I don't know why there's a lectern, but there's more books. And then I figured there's sort of like natural ladders to get up and get books and stuff. And then to prevent the string growing down along these, or sorry, to prevent the vines growing down around the table, you can just use string, and as long as you're far enough away, it's like practically invisible. So yeah, there's that. The second floor, I tried to add a bed or incorporate a bed into each floor. So I made this little tiny home and equipped with a bed, which I have a stair underneath so I can actually go to sleep. And then the next part goes hand in hand, I thought, with goes hand in hand with the enchanting table is the brewing station, equipped with your netherwort growing station, your potion water bottle filling station, and then all the supplies that you'd need to brew. They're empty right now. I haven't got stuff in it. But we come up to the top floor, and that's where we've got our enchanting room. Isn't that so cool? The knowledge is soaking in. Equipped with all the things you'd need to enchant and a grindstone too. So that's the first building. Let's go check out the other ones. Okay, I figured we'd work backwards. So I've already shown you the natural landscaping out front of the log cabin, but we come inside. We've got our little chimney and our fireplace equipped with some firewood ready to go inside whenever this burns out. We've got a little entry mat and a little kitchenette area where you can wash your hands and cook stuff. We've got a crafting table snuck in there on the side. I have these banners here to help give a little bit of privacy and pretend like it could go up and down or something like that to close off the room. And then again, more paintings. Got a little desk here for storage for the beds. And we've got that. So there's a little interior decorating. I had some hard times because I wanted to incorporate this crafting table. I didn't know how to make it look not weird with the dark oak and the spruce. So I just threw a trapdoor on top of it, and you can still access it there on the bottom. So that's the cozy cabin. Let's go check out the next one. Next, we have up the farmhouse. So I've got all of my crops just about ready to harvest. We come inside, immediately drawn to the focus of crops. I've got all my other ones stored, including some seeds. And I tried to keep true to the outside form of this hay bale looking thing. So I put some texture in the roof. So that way, not in the middle section here, but on the back section, I got more of that texture. Middle, I just got some paintings and then a composter and a hay bale because I figured it made a cute little desk or table or something like that. And then again, another bed, another painting. And then upstairs is where the good kush is. This is where we hide the beans. We're growing my magic beans. And yeah, got more storage. Storage is always way important. And that's the quick overview. I think I might just do a quick free cam overview as my outros as we're playing. I'll just run through each one while it's playing with those videos. Now you would think the last one is going to be the moss farm, but actually I remodeled and finished my villager trading hall. You're greeted by Mr. Villager. I don't know what his name is, but I would imagine he sounds like this. He's just big and stony. I like him. He's looking at you into your souls. And then I'm planning on doing some redstone with his face. So be on the lookout for that. But behind here, we've got our villager negotiator that helps me You really don't like him. But yeah, I've got my negotiator who helps lower the prices of my villagers. Can you come down, sir? I can't have you escaping just yet. Thank you. And then up here is where I would have the villager breeder. I have enough beds for it, but I don't need the villagers just yet because I don't know that I need the enchantments. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and stacked 2 hopper minecarts on top of each other with a trapdoor on top, which is the same over here. The villagers think they can move, but they're actually just a little bit taller than the player, so they can't actually move into the beds. So this villager thinks he can still trade, and he will go and he'll harvest a potato, and he'll try and throw it to this villager to trade to breed, and they'll catch them all. So I'm harvesting, farming a little bit there, and this is the back side of my villager, which is kind of what I'm planning is he's gonna spit out new villagers as I need them. But that'll happen hopefully later. Man, he's really trying to run away. Hang in there, I guess. So yeah, there's my villagers. All looks nice and snazzy. I got a weird texture going on. This took longer than it should, but it looks kind of cool up top. There's my villagers. And now onto the moss farm. Like we already know, the bottom part of the moss farm is all mechanical and redstone-y. But the top part over here, I wanted to make the opposite of that. I wanted to make it cutesy and almost like cottagecore-esque with green everywhere. So we got some barrels that are upside down so they don't have that weird cork on them like this side does, has the cork on the side. So I got some barrels, got some potted plants, moss carpets on the floor, and then just lush green everywhere. More storage, of course, a nightstand, all the basics, and then some hidden storage up top where you can get some extra stuff tucked away. So that's my rudimentary interior, intro to interior with Whodinni. It was a lot harder than it looks, but I'm okay with how each one of them turned out. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll be the last bit for today's episode. Join me next time where I tackle the nether. I'm planning on upgrading my armor, getting some netherite, and then getting really strong. Then killing the wither, because I've already got enough wither skulls, and then we might even make a gold and iron farm. But that'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.